We've been given the here we go from Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano. Thomas Frank will be the next manager of Tottenham Hotspur, and it will be confirmed later this week. BBC Sport have stated it could be announced within the next 48 hours. Sky Sports are stating that Spurs and Brentford are still in talks, and these talks will go into Wednesday. And the talks are continuing, talking about the futures of backroom staff. For international action, Heung-min Son has spoken out about his future and said, let's see. And he also stated it was a happy season last season, winning the Europa League. And Spurs have qualified for another European competition, but it is unlikely that the game will go ahead. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit the follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's start by talking about the summer transfer window. The first part of the window is now officially closed. It closed on Tuesday, the 10th of June at 7 p.m. It will reopen on Monday, the 16th of June, and then it will stay open until Monday, the 1st of September, until 7 p.m. So let's talk about Thomas Frank. Now, on Tuesday, there were so many media reports published. I won't go through them all. This is the absolute latest. On Tuesday morning, Fabrizio Romano has stated, here we go, Thomas Frank will be the new Tottenham Hotspur manager, and it will be confirmed sometime this week. BBC Sport have stated that Tottenham are closing in on appointing Brentford boss Thomas Frank as their new head coach by the weekend. Talks between the clubs are ongoing and have progressed positively. Thomas Frank could even be confirmed in the next 48 hours as Ange Postecoglou's successor. Discussions are understood to be amicable, and there is will from all parties to conclude the agreement quickly. And the very latest from Sky Sports, they have stated that Tottenham are now close to agreeing compensation with Brentford for Thomas Frank. Still the futures of several backroom staff to be decided, but progress expected into Wednesday. Tottenham Hotspur defender Mickey van der Ven scored his first senior international goal as the Netherlands beat Malta 8-0 in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying on Tuesday evening. The defender started at left back in the Group G encounter, and after setting up the seventh goal, he struck himself in the second minute of added time. Mickey completed a full shift as the Netherlands made it 2 wins in 2, scoring 10 goals, and they are yet to concede on the road to next summer's finals in USA, Mexico and Canada. Kevin Danso wasn't involved as Austria beat San Marino 2-0 in Group H. Papa Matar didn't feature as Senegal become the first African side to beat England in a friendly at Nottingham Forest, and Manor Solomon sat it out as Israel beat Slovakia 1-0. Staying with friendly action, Jamie Donnelly and goalkeeper Josh Keeley were unused subs as Northern Ireland beat Iceland 1-0 and the Republic of Ireland were held by Luxembourg respectively. And Tottenham Hotspur captain Heung-min Son came off the bench after 75 minutes as South Korea beat Kuwait 4-0 in Seoul. The Spurs captain had 11 touches in the game, had 1 touch inside the opposition box and provided 1 pass into the final third. Now, after the game in South Korea, Tottenham Hotspur captain Heung-min Son has been talking about his future. He said, since I have a year left on my contract, I think it's better for us to wait and see rather than make any statements now. Many people, including journalists and football fans, are curious about my future, but I believe it's best to observe what will happen from the current situation. Regardless of where I am or what role I have always done my best and continue to strive because I am the same player who always works hard. Wherever I am, I will do my best and prepare thoroughly for whatever comes. Sonny also spoke out about last season and the criticism aimed at Spurs. He said, whenever I play football, I believe I've achieved everything I dreamed of, especially this season. It's even more special because football is played to win and only the winners are remembered. Despite the difficulty of the season, experiencing directly the championship I've chased since I was young made me want to try even harder and do better. It was a year I felt I could improve. Some might feel disappointed, especially football fans, but for me, it was a truly happy season. Now, as stated in previous episodes, the Australian media are far from impressed that Tottenham Hotspur sacked boss Ange Postecoglou last Friday, despite the Australian delivering success for the first time in 17 years for Tottenham Hotspur, winning in Bilbao in the Europa League final against Manchester United. This is the latest, and Gerard Whateley from SEN Radio, this is what he had to say.
A special note of scorn for Tottenham Hotspur, who never deserved Ange Postecoglou in the first place. What a miserable club. Personally, I'm glad my time following them is over. They are living the worst destructive cycle. Everything I hate about sport in the modern era. Reveling in the failures rather than rejoicing, striving and believing. My snap judgment is Spurs is the most foolish club in all of sport. And their owner, Daniel Levy, is a ridiculous figure addicted to sacking managers. In generations to come, parents will tell their children of the night in Bilbao when an Australian ended 17 years of heartbreak by delivering a European trophy. They will recount how 220,000 people filled the streets in an outpouring of emotion and relief, finally feeling like the chosen ones. Those children will ask their parents to take them to the statue of the man who ended the years of torture. And those parents will look shamefully down at the ground and tell their younglings, rather than build a monument, they sacked Ange Postecoglou 16 days later. They know not what they have done. Farewell to Tottenham from my sporting affections, the most foolish club in all of sport. They never understood. They never deserved him. In Ange we trust.
And also, Nick Rees, the Lord Mayor of Melbourne, has sent Daniel Levy a message. He said, on behalf of the people of Melbourne and Premier League fans around the world, I call on Tottenham Hotspur to reconsider its decision to sack coach Ange Postecoglou. In the city of Melbourne, we have followed Ange's career closely for decades. He began his junior and senior career in Melbourne as a player and later coach at South Melbourne in the 1980s. Never underestimate Ange's determination to win and his ability to carry teams to greatness. We have seen this time again over his career. This year, Tottenham made history by winning the Europa League trophy, the first trophy for the club in 17 years. We will see with further trophies follow if Ange is given the chance. Don't let Tottenham be known as the team that is allergic to silverware. Let Ange lead the players onto greatness in next year's Premier League campaign. Now, the Sun newspaper have just reported that Tottenham Hotspur have qualified for the UEFA Conmebol Cup Challenge by winning the Europa League, but due to a hectic schedule, the North Londoners may not have time to play in the competition. The revamped competition was launched 2 years ago as a follow-up to the previous Supercoppa Euro Americana. It sees the Europa League winners go up against the champions of its South American counterpart, the Copa Sudamericana. Sevilla won the competition in 2023, but the game did not take place last year as Atalanta and Ecuadorian side Liga de Quito could not agree a date. This year's Copa Sudamericana winners were Argentina side Racing Club. Their club president want to set up a date with Spurs, and UEFA chiefs feel that it will be difficult to find a slot in which to fit the game. Now, my thoughts on everything in this episode. Let's start by talking about Thomas Frank, because Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has stated, here we go. So it means that Thomas Frank is on his way. He and Tottenham and Brentford are all in talks about the compensation package, etc. And now they're in talks about the backroom staff. Talks are going into Wednesday. I understand that Tottenham will pay around £10 million in compensation to Brentford for Thomas Frank to sign on that dotted line to become the new Tottenham Hotspur boss. I've done a lot of research on Thomas Frank in the last couple of days, and I've been very, very impressed with what I have seen, with what I have read, and also what I've heard. And he is such a calm person, and I feel like it could be the perfect appointment. Of course, Ange Postecoglou guided Tottenham to success after 17 long years. And, I feel like someone needs to come in now and carry that on, carry that forward, make a few changes in the team, make a few changes at the club. And, let's hope that success, again, is not that far away. Many people will be critical of him not managing in European competition. But I tell you what, every single challenge that Thomas Frank has had, he seems to have overcome it. And the amount of times where he has had really good players in his team and they have been taken away, and he seems to always replace those players in his team, and they work extremely hard. He seems to always get, the best out of players. Tactical flexibility as well, 3-5-2, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. So we know that he is very, very adaptable in his formations, very, very well organised. And, his players are unsung heroes. And, he deserves this chance, in my opinion. The videos and all of the clips that I've watched, he has done a fantastic job. And interestingly, his team has never ever sat in the relegation zone in the 4 seasons. And a lot of people thought that Brentford will end up going down back to the Championship, of course, where Thomas Frank brought them from. And another interesting stat, he has taken Brentford to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 4 times, and he's won 3 times. Now, if you think since the Premier League started in '92, Spurs have only ever won at Stamford Bridge once. So he has a better record than all of our Premier League managers since '92 at Stamford Bridge. Incredible stats. I could sit here all day giving you stats about Thomas Frank, but like I said, he gets the best out of players. And he seems to be such a well-liked and respected person in football. Every journalist, everyone in football, they all speak so highly of him. And I think that this could be a really good chance for him. He obviously wants the chance at a big European club. And of course, we're going to be playing Champions League as well. So it's going to be, Thomas Frank on the international stage, or the European stage, should I say. A big chance for him that he obviously wants to grab this opportunity. It would be nice for him as well that he's going to bring all of his backroom staff, and that's why these talks are going into Wednesday. And of course, he knows Johan Lange as well. So, that should be a real bonus for him and the football club, I feel. Internationals, great to see Mickey van der Ven on the score sheet. He looked absolutely delighted when he scored his goal. Big win for them. Heung-min Son, this one is going to be a very, very interesting one. Even Football.London have reported that it's more likely that he will leave this summer than ever before. Certainly when Saudi clubs came calling a couple of years ago. For him to come out and say, let's see, that doesn't exactly sound promising that he's going to be here next season. And he also spoke out about, it was a happy season for him last year. I'm sure it was, very, very tough in league competition that we've spoken about so many times throughout the season, and certainly the past week or so, since Ange Postecoglou's departure. Well, it feels like a week. It's not even a week, is it? It's about 5 days. But he, I'm sure, is extremely happy lifting that Europa League trophy. He didn't want to give it back. He didn't want to let go of it. And, it's so nice to see that medal around his neck. And, that parade was incredible. Seeing Sonny lifting that trophy down the high road was amazing. But will he stay at Spurs for another season? Will he play under another manager? What I would say is at the end of July, we are going on tour to South Korea. Imagine Son left before... us playing, a friendly or 2. I know one's only confirmed at the moment against Newcastle, but I would expect another one to be confirmed there. But imagine Son not being there, not being at Spurs. So, could that decision be made after? Could he do a Harry Kane and leave just before the Premier League season starts? Personally, for me, I would like to see Son stay for another year, and I would like to see him get the farewell and the send-off that he absolutely deserves at the end of his Spurs contract. Of course, his contract was meant to be up this summer, but the trigger in the clause was extended for another 12 months. And I really feel like he deserves that. But then some people will say, go now on a high. Spurs could cash in, get a fair bit of money for him, especially from the Saudi league. A lot of criticism aimed at Daniel Levy and the Tottenham Hotspur board and the club as a whole from the Australian media. They don't like it at all that Ange Postecoglou has been sacked despite them winning a trophy. And Gerard Watley really went in hard at the football club as well. And interestingly, I spoke to Gerard and went into their offices, their radio station in Melbourne last year. Very nice guy, and great outfit there, SEN. And he has gone in hard about them sacking Ange Postecoglou. I feel like I could talk all day about the Ange Postecoglou situation, but football is so brutal sometimes. It's like you don't even have time to be emotional about certain situations sometimes, about certain players, managers, etc. Everything is just moved on really, really quick. Literally one manager goes out the door and then the next minute you're starting talking about a new manager and you're looking at their tactics and you're looking what they can do. You're looking at transfer windows, etc., etc. And it just moves on really, really quick. And this is exactly what's happened. But, I said last week when Ange was sacked, that Spurs need to move quick, and that is exactly what we've done. So fair play to the club for moving quick, because the first part of the transfer window is now over. We've got to wait until the 16th of June next week for it to be open again. So hopefully Thomas Frank will be announced in the next couple of days, and then Thomas Frank, Johan Lange and co can really get going, sit down and talk about exactly what they want. Spurs are looking at a number of players at the moment, ready for the second part of the window to open, but we need to have a really big window. And interesting about this other European competition, it didn't get played. The game did not get played in this competition last season because they couldn't agree a date. I would love to see Spurs have another cup final. And you never know, Spurs could win 3 cup finals this year. It could happen. Spurs are playing PSG in the Super Cup. You never know. I know a lot of people are going, oh my God, PSG. People are scared about that game, but you never know in football. And this one as well. Imagine if Spurs could do the treble, 3 European trophies. It'd be incredible 2025. But Thomas Frank, if we played in this one and played in the Super Cup one as well, Thomas Frank could have 2 trophies under his belt, even before the season started. But personally, I hope that this game does get done. Perhaps they, treat it as a pre-season friendly. But scrap the word friendly. It's a cup final. But as I said, Thomas Frank could win 2 trophies before the season started. Imagine that. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do the follow button and leave a review if you can. Have a great week. Come on, you Spurs.